Just a short video to show you that I made a big mistake in my previous video about layer service attributes. I have corrected it over here. So in my previous video I did an Alex out, and this wasn't there at that time. So an Alex out query layer service layer.name question mark and then a value. And if I executed that code, you see it said something like this. And of course, what I'm doing here is nothing else than just printing a string. So I'm just printing query layer service layer.name question mark 4 to the event log. And that was, of course, not the point. I'm just learning everything, so mistakes will be made. So I have to delete that line, and what it should have been is Alex out, and then between parentheses alex.eval, of course, because I want to actually run that code, not just print the string to the event log. So alex.eval, and then between parentheses and quotes query layer service layer.name question mark, and then the internal selector is 4 in this case, so Alt Shift Enter with my cursor on that line, and now you see in the event log mesh 4. So let me clear the log and run that code again. Alt Shift Enter, you see mesh 4, and note that in the item list mesh 4 is not being selected. It's still mesh name that is selected. So this is a good example of how internal selectors, the special script query interface selectors work. So executing this code gives me a value of mesh item named mesh 4 when that item actually is not being selected in the item list. So the internal selectors that are being discussed in the wiki, they refer to internal selections, not to what you have selected in your item list. For instance, if you have geometry in your mesh item and you have made some vertex selections over there, then again, these internal selectors, they operate on whatever is internally selected and not necessarily what is selected in the item list. So if I, for instance, say 1 over here and Alt Shift Enter to run that code, now my output is mesh, and you see this mesh. When I set it to 2, Alt Shift Enter, then I get the name of the mesh item mesh name, and that is the item that is actually being selected. And you have guessed it, when I set it to 3, it will be mesh 3. So this is a good example of how the internal selectors work. And I was being a bit of a putz, not paying enough attention in my previous video that I did not do an alex.eval. I was asking myself, strange that when I do a query for layer.name that I get that whole string as an output. Of course, I did not execute it with alex.eval. I just printed it out. So hope you found it useful. Bye.